Good morning. It is day 160 on the Pacific Crest Trail, and last night was a little bit dramatic. Woke up at about midnight to flashes of lightning and very loud thunder. And at first I was kind of worried about fires because of lightning, but then it started raining and the lightning got brighter and the thunder got louder. Here is a clip. So yeah, pretty dramatic, lasted probably about 2 hours. I was very lazy and it took me about 2 hours to get my earplugs in because I just couldn't be bothered to get up and help myself get to sleep, I guess. I also realised about half an hour in that, I forgot that my ground, like the floor of my tent, isn't waterproof anymore. So things were starting to get damp, but luckily I had the foresight to get my ground sheet out and put that down. So luckily my quilt is basically dry, which I'm very grateful for, and especially considering how foggy it is now. Avoided condensation, very happy. So yeah, probably going to get my legs soaked now because surrounded by all of these bushes. So once it gets overgrown, RIP dry legs. But yeah, only about 3 hours of walking. It's like 7.5 miles to get to like the trailhead where we're going to get a hitch into town. So it'll be over before we know it. I'll see you in a bit. Hello again. Today has been non-stop and it's been a whole bunch of fun. Started off pretty wet, but as I say, luckily my quilt was fine, so as long as I could dry out my tent, I was pretty happy with whatever else happened. And so we started off, Scales, unfortunately, she left a door open in her tent, so a few of her things got quite wet, so it's a little bit of a miserable start to the day, but morale picked up immediately when we had two very steep hills to deal with. One of them was actually more steep than the dump truck challenge hill. It was a lot shorter, only like 0.2 miles, but yeah, it was a rough start to the day. And the fog was intense, like we could barely see that far in front of us for a little while. We started off with some ghost stories, which was quite fitting. Scales was telling us stories of they were ones that were kind of more appropriate for children, but they started off pretty terrifyingly. I may have laughed at the end of one of them, but we rehashed it to make it a lot more terrifying, so that was quite a lot of fun. And like I say, yeah, really fitting for the intense fog. And yes, soon after that there were two hills that were very intense, and we complained a lot. But I think that was a sign of good energy, that we had enough energy to complain after all of the intensity of the end of yesterday. And of course, we couldn't help but eat some berries on our way up. There were a few salmon berries again, which were again disappointing, but I had to give them a go just in case, because you never know. And some blueberries and huckleberries, so all good stuff. And it was only 7.5 miles into town, so it really wasn't that bad. And although it did kind of stretch out a bit towards that last little bit, but we found some kind of shortcut-ish where we went the wrong way and ended up in Stevens Pass, a little ski resort, where there was a bike race going on, which was quite fun. So we were kind of hopeful that there was going to be an easy hitch, but it turns out everyone was driving towards the bike race. No one was really leaving. But luckily, we managed to get a hitch out of there, again, with really intense fog, so it was really difficult for cars to actually see us coming around a bend. We managed to get one fairly quickly, only like 10-15 minutes, and they took us all the way to Leavenworth, which was really, really kind. And we ended up, getting there earlier than we'd anticipated. We caught up with Birdsong, sorted our resupply, charged up all our stuff, and managed to do an in and out. I mean, time flies when you're in town anyway, so we were kind of just sat in a Safeway for the entire time. It was probably like 5-6 hours, I think we were sat there, left at like 4:30, I think. So managed to get a bus back to the trailhead. Managed to dry out my tent just outside the Safeway. Luckily it was really, really hot outside the Leavenworth, or in Leavenworth, so it only took like 20 minutes really, which I was very grateful for, because like the whole of my tent was wet. But do not fear, tonight, in case it rains, I've put my ground sheet down on the inside of my tent, so I should be okay. And yeah, so good times, lots of stories, lots of just admin sorting. Booked a bus to get us from the trailhead to Stehekin when we get there in 5 days' time. Got too much food, as always. Very heavy bags. But the most beautiful thing happened on our way back to the trailhead. Initially, we had grand designs to do about 5 or 6 miles. After getting back to trail, I think maybe 5:30. But then there was the most amazing trail magic right by the trailhead, and it felt almost like we could have almost done a whole resupply there. Like, these lovely, lovely people had been kind of like dreaming of doing trail magic for a while, and they delivered and went above and beyond. It was crazy. Like, they had hot dogs, they had every little snacky thing that anyone could want. They had all the different kind of medical supplies. They had electrolytes, they had just all kinds of stuff, and it was all for free. And they did not accept donations, and we had a great time chatting with them. We had a few other friends come through that we got to catch up with. We made new friends, stayed longer than we intended, because who's not going to get vortexed by trail magic like that? It was such a great time. But we did eventually manage to peel ourselves away from our seats at about 7 p.m. Luckily, there was a campsite about 2.2 miles in, which is also fairly popular with everyone else who also got vortex, because it was quite busy there today. But luckily, we were kind of the first ones there, so managed to set up tents, all sorted, dry tent, hoping it's not going to rain tonight. But yeah, it's been a really fun day. Tomorrow, we'll see how far we get. I think we need to do somewhere around like 22 miles average, something like that. But yeah, this is Section K, which are all kinds of fear-mongering stories about how tough it is. But looking forward to it. It's also apparently one of the most beautiful. So we are nearing the end. We are racing against fire and smoke and hoping we don't get stuck by any of it. So it's all a little bit tense. Jump scare might be catching up with us like tomorrow or the next day. A lot is happening. Let's see what tomorrow brings. I'll see you there.